Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for joining us in this session. This is the second breakout session, and it's called Maximizing CalFresh Outreach Enrollment for College Students. So this is a really important topic, and I'm really excited to see so many faces here, so many advocates, so many college students, and so many people that work on this space, because it's sometimes left behind. And we, as a society, we are normalizing student hunger. And we are now making it a priority on our state and nationally to ensure that every student has what they need to have the success and to thrive in the college and for many years after that. So thank you so much for being here. This is a hybrid session, so we are going to have some friends joining us in hybrid. Thank you so much. Hi everyone. We're going to have a really good conversation. We have a fantastic panel, Alyson, Paola, and Muna. And you get a chance to meet them and learn from their expertise. But we also want to hear from you. And we want to hear from you who are joining us virtually. Please, we're going to have some time for questions. So save your questions for the end. But make sure that you write them down in your notebooks, write them down in the chat, and start sharing your story, sharing your questions, sharing your success, because there's a huge collective wisdom in this room and around California that we want to hear from all of you. So we want to make this participatory. Thank you again for joining us. We're going to do a bit of introductions. My name is Angela Nelson. I work for Nourish, California. I'm a senior advocate. And I have 4 children, 3 of them and practically college students. 2 college students, 1 going to be a college student next year. So all the work that you do is helping people like me, like my family, because even though you see somebody has a great job in California, or 2 jobs sometimes, their kids still struggle during college because they are independent. We can't afford in California to have 2 or 3 houses and have, your house and then help them with their rent and then the other child. So in California, we have a huge problem with affordability and support for college students. So I'm going to introduce the panel. Actually, I'm going to let them introduce themselves. And we'll start with Alyson. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Is this on? Yeah. Okay. I'm Alyson, Wylie. I'm really excited to be here. I'm with the Center for Healthy Communities at Chico State. We are a prime contractor with CDSS to elevate CalFresh outreach benefits throughout the state. We work with CSUs, UCs, and community colleges. And so, looking around the room, I'm hoping that there's campuses represented. I know there are, because there's some people from our office here, and county workers. And I'm really looking forward to just sharing the innovative outreach strategies that are happening throughout the state. I primarily, myself, work with community colleges. So I've brought some friends here with me today to share more. And I pass it to Paola.
Thank you. Well, my name is Paola. I come from Camino College in Torrance, in the LA County area. I'm a grad student at Cal State Long Beach. I'm in the MSW program. This is my first year, and I'm about to start my second one. I'm also a part-time employee at Camino College. I'm the CalFresh outreach specialist there, and also a CalFresh recipient, also a proud mother of 4 children, single mother.
My name is Taqi-Eddin, and I work with Chabot College. I'm new to higher education in America. I've only worked with Chabot for 2 years. However, I have some experience with public benefits, working with refugees. I worked at a resettlement agency, so hearing about all the advocacy and the work that's going into CalFresh and outreach really resonated with me through my previous experience, and how important food security is to any family, any individual trying to make it through, especially here in America. I have the context of, I was actually just having a conversation a few minutes ago before we moved here about the American dream and what that means and how true it is. And just being part of this conversation really, really puts that into perspective. So really humbled to be part of this, and I hope that my experience helps bring some insight into some of the challenges and maybe some resolutions and solutions.
Thank you. And thank you for being here with us, sharing your expertise and your time. We really, really appreciate all of you being here, traveling for all across California. So thank you. And let me start with you, Alyson. You mentioned that you work with college students and you work in outreach. Could you tell me a little bit about the students' experience in regards to CalFresh?
Yeah, thank you, Angeles. You know, in the past, it was difficult. Students found it really hard to meet CalFresh eligibility. The process was tedious, and there were long wait times at the office. My daughter went to college about 10 years ago, and I called her and I said, you know, I'm hearing about this program. I think you might qualify. And of course, she was down at Maricosta, San Diego County. She was frustrated with me, but she went ahead, she got in line. It took her 8 hours at the San Diego office, and my comment to her was, how much is your time worth? You know, go ahead and give it a try. She was approved, and she got those benefits. But that long time ago, tedious wait time is something that we've really been working on. The other thing is that negative stigma that's attached to applying for benefits, and this continues. It went on for many years, it continues. I feel like we're dealing with that a little bit. Then in December 2020, with the federal COVID relief bill, college student eligibility was greatly expanded with the public health emergency, allowing students with zero expected family contribution or were work study eligible to use this as their college student exemption. And then that criteria was removed in May 2023, and then no longer students qualified. So up against this limiting criteria, it has been expanded and clarified by the state. And that expanded interpretation of 20 hours from working a minimum of 20 hours per week federally versus what we use in California now, an average of 20 hours per week or 80 hours a month. It seems like a subtle difference, but it really made a massive impact for students.
That's a huge help. And I know that COVID has, and we want to keep the COVID flexibilities that we have in CalFresh and in other programs. So is there anything being done to increase eligibility with students?
Yes, thank you for asking. So we've got LPIs, local programs that increase employability. And as of May this month, there's over 11,000 programs that have been added to this state list as student exemptions. And just so you know, if you want to find that list, you can do a search of LPI. I just put in Google LPI Gov. I've got some nods around here because you need to really check that list to see if that program on your campus qualifies. Lots of nods out there. So if a student is enrolled in one of those LPI programs, that can be their exemption to the work rule. But then there's also lots of work ramping up to county partnerships to ensure that student experience is similar in no matter where they apply with the different counties. And AB 1326 is one of those massive changes that have come in, which mandated county liaisons to work with campuses. And then now we're looking at AB 2150 that expands that partnership. And I'm just going to read a little bit about AB 2150. This bill would require a county human services agency to additionally receive input from basic needs directors and basic needs coordinators. So we love that partnership. We love that there's this chance. You know, if you're an eligibility worker in a county, knowing that all CSUs, all community colleges, all UCs have basic needs centers, there's going to be somebody that's either based in your county or serving your county. So there's definitely someone to reach out to and to connect with. So with this process, we're working with campuses across the state to help them boost applications with new LPI strategies, strengthening county connections, and then these innovative, and I look at these two, innovative outreach strategies that we're going to talk about today.
Thank you, Alyson. There's a lot of work being done, and there's a lot of challenges for students to reach the program. Maybe some of them don't know about the program. Myself, I never knew about CalFresh. And then there's also distrust for immigrant families. Maybe there's a lot of fear for joining and affecting their parents or themselves. There's always a trusted community member that can help. And in this case, if we're talking about students, maybe students are helping with that, doing some sort of outreach. What kind of an outreach are students doing?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Innovative outreach. Well, like I said, all segments have basic needs departments, and almost all campuses have some form of CalFresh outreach under that umbrella. So then we look at how are students responding, and we've got that stigma that we're always addressing. And financial aid for food is a campaign that was actually started by students about 10 years ago, just looking at a way to break that stigma. And that student-to-student peer model, peer mentoring that you mentioned, really is a significant way to help students. Sorry, I keep repositioning myself. A different way to present in a squishy chair, right? So then out of the pandemic, we saw overnight the pivot of how outreach has been changed forever to be more digital friendly. And with those LPI programs and reaching out via email and sharing with students that they might qualify due to their exemptions, this is a big way that we can reach out to students. And Muna and Paola have both shared their social media information on their speaker bio. So, and actually I have two for Chico State. So if you're interested in what that looks like and what some of that outreach looks like for campuses, feel free to look us up on our speaker bio and you'll find our links. In 2021, we launched the Resource Hub, and I'm going to do a little shout out here to our new person, Ginny, is over here from the Resource Hub. And the Resource Hub supports LPI work that we mentioned earlier, but it's also a resource for campus staff who are growing and elevating their programs. We work with, as I mentioned, about 50 campuses, but the Resource Hub is something that the entire state can use, campuses in the entire state can use. And there is a lot, it's not live, there's a support desk feature where you can submit, and I know you all have submitted questions, where you can submit your questions and someone will get back to you. It's usually about 24 hours, I want to say, that we'll get back to you. It's very handy. And if you want that Resource Hub website, you can look at my speaker bio. I'll look at all of you online. Hello, Resource Hub, maybe you're out there. My speaker bio, I have the link to the Resource Hub. It's on our Chico State website. You go Chico State, CHC, Resource Hub, but I got the link on my speaker bio. But really, today, I'm just super excited to share a little bit about what it's like to be on a college campus. Like I said, there's an opportunity for you to connect and learn more, and as we hear from Muna and Paola, we're going to hear. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, why don't we go with Muna? And could you tell us a little bit about the challenges that you see college students are experiencing, and maybe what is being done about those challenges, which there's a lot.
Yeah. So really, like I said, my journey with higher education and basic needs is quite young, relatively. In the 2 years I've been working with Chabot, I've seen challenges shift. So when I first started, definitely one of the biggest challenges was really just getting them to apply first, getting to students. So definitely challenging that stigma, working against it, right? And then when finally getting them to apply was to get them actually approved. So, and getting them approved was, so one, let's say, speed bump was the application, and then the interview. Missing the interview was a whole other story. And then finally, they get the interview, they get their documents in, but then, oh wait, you don't work 20 hours. So to actually have somebody understand the uniqueness of this college student situation and whatever exemption was surrounding that situation, right? So, and I say this was at the beginning of my journey because this was pre-having 3AB 1326. So we didn't have a county liaison. And trying to get someone's email or contact information was like digging for gold. And then finally this came, and we had somebody to reach out to. So it made all the difference, for sure. And then another challenge I faced with students was actually having them, educating them on this benefit and their eligibility was one thing, and then finally to sit with them and to get them to complete the application and to convince them that it's only 10 minutes, I promise you, it's not going to take longer, was not very effective. So also we've finally addressed it through solid partnerships with faculty members, coaches, sports teams that, coaches was definitely one of my most successful partnerships because they have such a leverage on their athletes, right? They convince them to, okay, you're going to get this if you're eligible, and it really did. I found that very, successful.
Thank you. And we know that enrollment participation is really low. There's a lot of challenges, like you mentioned. I have a child, like I mentioned, in college, and one is the stigma, like they have to say, I need this. How am I going to go and say, I need this help? That just, and it might be different in different cultures, but they want to prove that they can do things, and it's just really difficult. And then transportation, like you mentioned, going and missing that appointment, how to get there. So do you have, or is there some overarching goals in participation?
So, well, of course, we have our contract and we have to honor the numbers of applications. That's definitely always like a benchmark for us. But also, in the long run, it's our ultimate goal is for every eligible student to be enrolled. That I feel that goes without saying, right? That, we're here, we know you're eligible for this. This is something that really will help you. No matter how large or little the benefit amount is, it will help out. And for them, and for it to be part of a culture, an understanding, a mindset towards this is a benefit. I'm eligible for this. This is something that, to give them that kind of mentality, to shift it from, oh, it's a need, it's this stigma around it, around your circumstances, and to shift it towards, it's a benefit that will help me get to my goal. Really is what we're trying to work towards, and that's how we're trying to build our tone around that, to shift that stigma.
And just so there's a lot of colleges here listening to us and maybe watching virtually. So is there best practices that you can share for outreach?
So we, like I said, at Chabot, we met, I think, a very common challenge that probably a lot of community college campuses face, like staffing and high turnover and all that. So at some point, it was me, myself, and I in the basic needs department with a lot of support from different areas, faculty, administration, Even students themselves were very supportive, even offering to volunteer and help out. So really knowing that it's not a one-man show, it takes a village, right? We're all here for one purpose, and that is for every student to achieve their goals, to succeed. So knowing that and putting that in perspective, everybody works towards that. Building effective partnerships, on campus was definitely it saved a lot of time, it saved a lot of effort. So I would definitely say college students are the best advocates for this benefit. You get one student who's benefiting from this, we'll talk about it, we'll let people know, making sure they're on, I've reached out to several students who've gotten that benefit, they table, they talk about it, they answer questions that I don't even think about. So it really does help peer-to-peer. And also partnering with financial aid was brilliant, because financial aid for food, right? We're both here, everybody wants financial aid, there's no stigma around that, but then you partner with them and then come along, that makes sense, okay, I'll do that. And also having just a larger community, a larger audience. So we participate in our local community events, like there was, when I first started an event at Hayward Street Party, we made sure there was a present, the CalFresh Outreach logo was there, and people were talking about it, even though they weren't probably Chabot students, but still getting the community, normalizing this as a student benefit really made a difference.
Thank you. Can you share some of the challenges that you had as an outreach expert, and then maybe how you overcome those?
They're not wanting to repeat myself, but definitely the stigma around it. And you talk to knowing your audience, so talking to different communities means that you're probably addressing different stigmas, right? So when I talk to students that come from families with mixed status, they come with their own set of probably misunderstanding of the benefit. Like, for example, well, you can never become a citizen without paying off all the debt you owe the state if you're on this benefit. So that alone is a challenge, and you want to make sure that you communicate very accurate information. So again, being resourceful and making sure you bring in the right people to address this is very crucial. And then the college student himself can be, a college student can be him or herself's worst enemy in this in this endeavor, because they miss appointments. They will not submit documents in a timely manner. Their case will close, and then they will just say simply, you know what, it's probably not even worth it, right? So trying to, be that cheerleader and say, no, you do want to maximize all the benefits. You want to make sure you're connected to sustainable resources. So these are some of the challenges we come across.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about all those challenges the students have, and we're in this all together. So what can community, what can the administration do to support your work and to support students' enrollment?
When I think of, what support I think our students need in the larger community, I think of the person sitting with them during an interview. And I think that every student presents a unique set of circumstances. It's not a one-size-fits-all. And unfortunately, it feels like that's how it's looked at. Take an application, in their mind, there's this, and definitely shout out to all county workers. I know how impacted social services are, and the great work they're doing, but definitely, what lies beyond that application is a person that's not always the most articulate, and well-versed on their own circumstance. So they come with very different sets of circumstances, and they don't know what this means when they're told, oh, but you have to show me this and you have to show me that. They won't know to tell sometimes that I don't understand, can you please explain? And then they're deemed, oh, you're not eligible. And I know for sure that they're eligible. So then we go back to the drawing board, having to convince them, no, you are eligible, and then, so definitely listen to give them the benefit that they might not know, and to give them a little more time.
Thank you, Paola. How can the students get involved? I think you have been talking a lot about
Students, pay it forward.
Yeah,
You're on the benefit, just spread the word, tell them about it. It takes a minute sometimes to talk about it, and refer them to the outreach specialist office or the basic needs center. We definitely can help out.
Definitely. And that's a really important part because at one point, 1 year, about 10 years ago, and some of you already know my story. I'm an immigrant from Mexico, and in my family we experienced severe food insecurity, hunger. I have a baby brother who passed away from spoiled milk because we sometimes lack resources, although both of my parents work from day to night. And so coming here to California, I came here when I was about 19, and I thought that I would never see my children experiencing food insecurity. But things happen, and that happened to me. And I didn't know about CalFresh, and I knew English. I was already American citizen here, and it took an outreach coordinator. It took somebody to tell me, to walk me through the process that took months. I would say 4 to 6 months for me to get the support. So, and that's a grown woman with children, with so many resources, working in this area. And so I think the work that you are all doing is fantastic, and it is incredibly helpful for families, because I know that if I didn't have CalFresh, I would probably lose my home. I would have, it's just the hardest part in my life, I think, was not having enough resources to feed my kids and having to decide, what do I do with this paycheck? Do I pay the mortgage, or do I feed my kids, or do I take them to the doctor? What do you do? So this is a basic need. It's a right for all humans to have the food they need. And people like all of you are doing a change in lives and are making people be successful and thrive in California and in the United States. These programs are really important, but the reality is that it wouldn't happen without people like all of you who are advocating and are helping families reach the benefits that they need at the time of need. So I want to hear now from Paola. Paola, I know that you are an outreach coordinator and and you are a parent too, and a participant of the program. So tell us a little bit about what you do at your job.
Okay, so I'm the CalFresh outreach specialist at Camino College. I run the program. I do outreach. I talk to the county. I do the applications. I sit with students and do the STAR 7s. So in the basic needs program, we all wear several hats. So we're under financial aid. We're supported by the financial aid director, David Brown, and the basic needs coordinator, Sharonda Barksdale. And so in that program, we offer housing, the Metro Youth Pass. We have a club, it's called the Wardrobe Closet. So we do get up donations from the community, and we offer free clothing. We also have a pantry, have this contract where we help students every semester apply for a U-Pass. So the students will come in, they'll meet with me or the coordinator, Ms. Rhonda Barksdale, and we sit with them and we go over their financial aid to see if they qualify for this U-Pass. So by us looking into this information, we're able to see what the student might be missing or may require. So we kind of get an idea when they ask for a U-Pass that they are lacking something. So we just don't throw it out there. We're like, hey, you'd be interested in getting some clothes today or some free clothes, food, and stuff like that. And when they start answering questions, I start thinking, okay, what else can I do going out CalFresh outreach? I think about, okay, well, let me look at it if they have the Cal Grant A and B to see if they might qualify for CalFresh. I start asking them what's their living status, if they're living with their parents, if they're single parents, if they're renting. So they'll tell me more, and then I start thinking, okay, this person might qualify for CalFresh, and I tell them, if you guys are interested in applying for CalFresh, I can help you. Just set up an appointment with me. We've come up with a list of documents they may need. So it's really friendly. It has funny pictures, so they can. The county does have a list for documents required to apply for CalFresh, but we made it in a way that students can find it. It's not like so tedious to look at it. It's actually easy. It's just 5 things that they see, and if they want to apply, I ask them to please provide me dates when they're available, so we can accommodate on their time. And if they need immediate support, I'm able to walk them to the pantry, and we do have free fresh fruits, canned foods, snacks, whatever they need. If they need clothing, we're also able to support with that.
Thank you, Paola. That list is really important for students to know, and you can find it in Fora because it has been uploaded, so you can take a look there on what students need to qualify for CalFresh. And also the food pantry, that's super important too. I know my kids have gone to the food pantry at the college, so I'm so glad that now they have that. And today we've been talking a lot about partnerships. If you were in the previous session, we talked about partnerships, one of the most important things to actually reach all families. And so I wanted to ask you if you have a partnership with the county, or how's your relationship with them? Did you send students, or do you talk a lot of students there?
So we do have a great partnership with the county. I do want to give a shout out to Diego Fajardo, Eduardo Alvarado, and Emily Hansen. They're an amazing team with us. We recently started working with them, I think, for a year already. So every time we have a question, they're always there for us. They're always supporting us, always educating us, and we work as a team. So El Camino does serve a diverse community. We do have immigrants. Sometimes we think of immigrants as they're Mexican, Central America, but we forget that there's immigrants from other parts of the world, like the Arab countries or South America. So there's not a lot of information on how can they apply for CalFresh.
important and very helpful. And I know the coverage, the CalFresh outreach person that helped me had also a connection with,
It was on
with them.
the analog.
And so she was
So I
able
just
to
pressed that and
actually
switched
have
it back
like
to
a
this.
3-way goal where we discussed what was stopping it, what was happening, and that was a really big help. And I know there's
Okay,
another
but
really
this one was
key,
this. Oh, that's just the headphone.
relationship that can help.
So it shows
And
you.
mentioned
So
that
this
you are a
display
parent.
is just what you're hearing
So
on
I was
headphones.
wondering if you talk to parents.
Yeah, because before it was like that, and I
reach out
didn't
to
see
them,
anything
or
up there.
involved in any way.
Okay, so,
So it was recording audio the whole time?
College, I do presentations. I do
Okay.
presentations
Okay.
for programs that house parents
Oh, shit.
students,
Drip time.
such as Puente program, EOPNS, First Gen. There's a lot of programs, that house these kind of students. So I will go into there and tell my personal story. At the beginning, I was embarrassed, to apply for CalFresh, but 6 years ago, I worked in aerospace. I was a quality assistant there. And the company closed down, so unemployment came in, and they asked us, hey, you guys may qualify for CalFresh if you guys go back to school. So I thought, well, maybe this is the opportunity. I was waiting to go back to school after 13 years. So,
Congratulations.
yeah,
That is incredible, yeah.
thank you. And so I ended up going to Camino College and started going there as an engineer major. And I applied for CalFresh. I was approved. Then I changed my major to sociology and history because I wanted to see how could I help people. I thought, if I wanted to be in a cubicle all day doing drawings, doing gold inspections, all that, I thought, I'm not doing really much with my life. So I changed my major because of all these things that I had to learn. I had to mentally change how I was wired. Believing that, asking for government assistance or asking for help, it was a bad thing. It's an embarrassing thing to do for a lot of our communities. So when I go into these meetings or conferences or presentations, I tell the students, don't be embarrassed. I'm also a single parent. While I was in my bachelor's program, I filed for divorce. So I've been part of this program for 6 years already. I've been receiving CalFresh. I'm not embarrassed. At the beginning, I was, but I tell the students, if I'm doing it, you guys can do it. It's not something you should be embarrassed about. You should receive the support because it is part of the financial aid that we're giving you here. And if I'm here to testify about it and tell you how much it has helped me, then you should go for it too.
It's so important to normalize and to make sure that everybody knows that it's okay to ask for CalFresh, to receive the benefits, to use the benefits. And it's a long-term effect that food insecurity has in the students. There was a study not very long ago came out from Johns Hopkins. One of the first ones that studied how what are the effects on long term when students in college have food insecurity, what are the long term effects of that? And they found out that about 40, or a little bit over 40% of the students don't graduate from college, don't get a degree. And if you have intersection different, for instance, first-time college students is over 60% that don't graduate. And they follow 1,600 students for 18 years. And it's one of the long-term studies. And in the 18 years, it didn't matter if the students went back to college, over 60% of first-time students who face food insecurity could not graduate from college. They did not graduate, and that affects their well-being, affects their financial situation, the thriving, living in California or anywhere else. So really important. I am really amazed that you are back in school and that you are pursuing your graduate degree. Tell us a little bit about how you're doing with that study and going back to school.
It works for me. I have no complaints. I'm a doer. I like challenges, and it's amazing. Being a part-time employee at El Camino helps me because on the days I'm off, which is Mondays and Fridays. I will work on my homework, and Saturdays I will go to school all day. So it works for me. It's hard. It is hard. I do have to admit it's hard, but it helps me because one of the pros of going to Long Beach is because there's a lot of county workers taking the same classes that I'm taking. So when I'm there, we're talking about theories, we're talking about policy. I start talking about the things that I come across, like for example, like last semester we were talking in our policy class about the whole thing that students can qualify for CalFresh if they qualify for federal work study. So they were like, oh, so how does that affect? I said, well, it does affect a lot of our students because some of them don't qualify, but now there's a new, a new way they can qualify if their program is part of the LPI program. For instance, the MSW at Long Beach, if you're part of that program, you qualify for CalFresh if you still meet the other eligibility requirements. But I had a few DPSS workers there from LA County, and they were like, oh, what is it, LPI? And I was like, oh, you guys are not aware of it? And they're like, no. So I was educating them, and they were going back and forth like, okay, ask me more and tell me more. So what's the better place to learn, right? A university, a class, we're teaching each other. We do have professors there and textbooks, but we're sitting there as social workers coming from different aspects from social work, so we're teaching each other. And so it's really fun. I learn from them a lot, and they learn from me coming from outreach and being a student and a mom. They see my side. And this semester, I was part of a research class, and I met the group of individuals who are doing a research on the basic needs, the impact of the basic needs programs in California. So they had no idea I was there. And I told them, well, hey, I work in the basic needs program at Camino College. And I told them, kudos to you guys for doing this research. It's amazing because a lot of our classmates don't know what this is about. We think about social work, it's child protective services or mental health. But it also is at schools, community colleges or basic needs. And my thing is I'm so focused on basic needs that I wanted to tell my classmates, hey, this program is amazing because sometimes we'll hear people at the high levels of the community colleges or the universities talking about how can we keep students here? How can we continue increasing the numbers for them to come? Well, we need to provide basic needs. Basic needs are everyone's entitled to. Why not provide them and help them to relieve some of the burden they have? Obtaining an education is a key, but we need to provide that support for them to continue pursuing that dream. So I told kudos to you guys, and I'm glad you guys are educating our classmates about this, and I'm glad that I'm here because I want to share with you guys that whatever you guys find out in this data is going to help other universities and colleges to continue to support basic needs. So yeah, college, working as a part-timer, it works while I'm doing my master's program at lunch.
That's great, Paola. Thank you for sharing your story with us and your experience. And probably one of the most important questions here, and what we are all here together, is how has CalFresh helped you reach your goals?
Going to the whole burden thing, it has helped me a lot. It's one less thing I have to worry about. Being a part-timer has me on a sticky situation every month, and taking out loans to pay for my master's. It's okay, it's doable, but it has helped me. It's been helping me to get my associate's degree. I do a major in history and sociology. I got my bachelor's too in sociology and history. It helped me there, and now that I'm in my master's program, it's helping me still. And now being a single mother of 4 children, it continues to help. It's an amazing thing, and that's how it's helping me to achieve my goal. Because one day I also want to be able to give back to my community, and doing this job, it's helping me give back to my community.
Yeah, I think that's the importance of CalFresh. That is because if we help somebody, if the system can support somebody when they need something, then we can create a healthier society. Somebody everybody they can help each other and prosper. We're going to go to questions in a minute. So start thinking, and Kearney, if you can please check if there's questions on the chat. And I just wanted to say thank you so much for being here and for sharing all your stories and your expertise. And can we give them a round of applause, please? Okay, so is there any questions that we, there's a question over here. Kearney, raise your hand.
So, first of all, thank you for sharing, and thank you for sharing your story. Congratulations on your master's. A question I have for both of you, or whoever feels like answering, what has been the most effective way for you to outreach to students and faculty about the LPIs? And just any challenges maybe you face with the LPIs, maybe submitting the LPIs? I know that's two questions in one, but I think if that tells you where I'm kind of struggling with, is like reaching students, making sure they know that their major, and also just the language around each major has been a challenge for me in order to get the LPI approved.
So, if you don't mind, when I first started, it was actually right when I think we were collecting LPIs from each university, college and university, and I had no idea what LPIs meant or anything. But I was fortunate that at the time, the vice president of student services was my direct supervisor, and he connected me with the vice president of academic services. So it was, so maybe it's just connecting with the right people. They sent me a list of all the majors in different areas, and I sent the wording of what it, what would qualify as an LPI, and we just connected the dots, and it was really just, I think, a matter of a couple of days. We had the list and we submitted it to CHC, and it went through. So it's really just connecting with the right people on campus to support you. Otherwise, I don't know how I could have done it, really. And in terms of like a document and a letter of like a waiver, we have a program called Fresh Success on campus, and it made all the difference for me because I was in the midst of drafting kind of like a template for each different area, and then voila, Fresh Success comes and creates this letter. It was basically a pre-enrollment where it reads as follows: the student has been pre-screened and qualifies for Fresh Success upon receiving CalFresh. So basically, once a student submits that and receives CalFresh, they're enrolled into Fresh Success. And what Fresh Success is, it's basically a program that offers all CalFresh recipients on a campus support with transportation, supplies, and transportation, books, and supplies for CalFresh recipients, and in areas, for students that are enrolled in career and training programs. So it basically LPIs, right? So it really did make all the difference having that letter. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
Can I answer that too? Thank you for that question. That's such a good question. You know, you're sitting next to our Resource Hub. On our Resource Hub website, we do have a template that you can use. I don't know if you've seen that you can send to the different department heads for your LPI, the different programs, and you can send that, personalize it, send that out, and ask them to send it out to the students. Hey, you might be eligible, you might want to qualify, come make an appointment at our office. And I kind of want to point out, we've got College of the Canyons over here, just different LPI idea, somebody to connect with. We've got Butte College over here. Is anybody else from a campus here? Just curious. No? Okay, so we've got a few colleges represented who also might have great LPI outreach ideas. I don't know if you wanted to add to that.
Well, I kind of cheat. I go to the LA County LPI list, and I will go there and look up. Okay, so what does Long Beach have? What does Cerritos have? And then I tell my supervisor, okay, so we have those programs here. How come that we haven't approved them? So that's when we start going, okay, well, let's request that one to be approved. That's what we do. And then when it comes to students, since I do have access to their class schedule and stuff, I start asking the student, hey, so what's your major? So based on what I see, that's when I go back to the LPI list and I see, oh, where that major is at another community college or another university. And I also tell my supervisor, hey, you know, that program at that school, it's approved for an LPI, so how come we can't just submit it and see if we can get it approved? So we kind of cheat, I'm sorry.
It's not cheating. It's not cheating.
Resource.
Any other questions?
Yeah, we actually have a virtual question from Diego Fajardo, and the question is, how long is the average wait for CDSS to review and make a decision for the new LPI submissions?
I don't know. That's a good question. So it is our office who is submitting these, but I don't know that process. I can find out for you, and you know, you did that shout out for you. Oh, do you know? Oh my gosh. Okay. Here, I can pass it.
So for colleges who want to submit LPI submissions, the CHC Resource Hub can help with that. We have more information about what LPI components are, so you can determine whether or not your program qualifies. If you have questions about your specific program, if you're a subcontractor, you can ask your program manager or ask the Resource Hub if you're not a subcontractor. But as far as I recall, I believe we asked campuses to submit their LPI submission template by the 10th of the month. We review that internally. There's a couple of different people who will review that. And then CDSS only approves their LPI list every first of each calendar month. So about a month.
Thank you for that.
And
Yes. Hi guys, my name is Daniel. I'm from Fresno at Catholic Charities. So earlier, you know, I was in the food for all the class we had here, but the question I have here as well, I know we have had a barrier with the immigration statuses and things, and people not qualifying for services. So for the enrollment for students, I know that's something that we're asking a lot about, but is it going to be eligible for college students under student visas, or they're coming under foreign exchange students? Are they going to be eligible for these enrollments into the CalFresh program?
And I don't know that answer as far as eligibility. Oh, you have? Oh, you do. Okay.
Well, I don't know about that, but one thing that I've done as a college, I set aside like basic needs money to give my undocumented students food stipend, because I know that it's a federal program. So I think that's where like some advocacy, like looking into like your local community college, seeing if they're willing to set aside dollars so that undocumented students can specifically have like food stipends. But I know like it doesn't answer your question about like the federal eligibility.
I guess the more concerned about it is, you know, when you have a local student here, they have family support where they can receive money. But when you have a student coming from another country and a student visa, they don't have family or anybody here. So I'm sure they also want to apply for this CalFresh. I know it's not a lot, but it's something that will get them a long way, because sometimes they run into a barrier of getting a job or something to get money. So that was just the thing, is how do they come into effect into this situation where they want to apply as well, if they don't have any support at all besides themselves?
So what I know, given there was a presentation, I think it's also on your resource hub, that students on student visas do not qualify for any federal benefits, unfortunately. But that's where basic needs comes in, right? That's where we try to support our international students, because we have a large community of international students at Chabot. And unfortunately, the understanding is that international students are well supported. However, reality tells us differently, right? So I guess it would be a supplemental support from campuses.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys.
Thank you. That's a really, really good question. And many people don't know, it's not only international students, but it's also DACA students.
Yeah.
Children who have been here for their entire life and they are not eligible to receive CalFresh. That don't even, maybe not even speak their language from other countries.
Yeah.
Completely live their lives here and they don't qualify. So that's another of our fights in California is the Food for All. And that is a coalition that is working on getting access to all Californians with, not whether they're here, how they're here, but just include everybody on basic food resources. So this is a really good point, and which you might bring to our closing. We need to change our system, and that is the problem because we are not recognizing students' needs as a basic human right. And I lead the federal policy for Nourish, California, and CalFresh is one of the programs who is, we need to work on federal regulations to change this program. So we are creating a coalition with many partners. We talk about the importance of partnerships here. And all your expertise, all your voices is what we need. We need to go to Congress and we need to let them know what are the needs in our community. And specifically in California, it's really high because the wages are higher here. So students need to work 20 hours and then pretty soon, oh, you're making too much money. Sorry, you don't qualify. But they can barely pay for rent or transportation. So we need to work at the federal level too to make sure that these needs are addressed. So I am inviting you, reach out to me. Also my email is Angeles, and I'm in Cuba. You can reach out to me, angeles@nourish.org. Send me an email if you are interested in participating in this coalition. It's a group that includes many advocates from all across the country. We meet monthly, and this is just starting, so we don't even have a name yet, but we are focusing on students' needs. Thank you everyone for coming. Now we can take a break.